Let's look at a poem from SIRI Kannada grade 8. The name of this poem is Bahumana and it is written by Kuvempu. Bahumana means reward or recognition or a prize. So, Kuvempu is a Rashtrakavi. He is a very famous poet. But he started his career by writing English poems. So once when he met an Irish poet, James Henry Cousins, the Irish poet gave him a suggestion that why not he write poems in his mother tongue, Kannada. So Kuvempu considered this suggestion seriously and he started writing poems in Kannada. And we have such beautiful work from Kuvempu. We have such beautiful and lovely poems by him. There is one more Rashtrakavi. His name is G.S. Shivarudrappa. So in one of his poems, he is mentioned that I sing not because everybody have to praise me or recognize me and reward me. I like to sing and singing is my job, so I do it. I do it wholeheartedly. So this is one more poet who is written in his poem. This message he is given in one of his poems. So what this poem wants to convey? So it wants to convey these two messages. That is, one, if you have to express your innermost feelings, then it is best done if you do it in your mother tongue. You can't express in a language which you are not a native of. So it's always the mother tongue which helps you to express all your feelings. So this is one message we get from this poem. And the second message is, if you are dedicated and you passionate about your job, passionate about whatever you do, you will do it wholeheartedly because you enjoy, you love doing it. You don't do it because somebody has to recognize you, somebody has to reward you. You don't expect anything in return. You do it because you enjoy doing it. You just love doing that job. So these are the two messages that this poem also wants to convey to us. So it's a very, very simple and a very small poem where a bird, that is a cuckoo bird, is singing in a forest. It's singing so beautifully and it creates a lot of reaction in nature, not from human beings or anything else. Nature reacts to the singing of this bird. But one human listens to it and he tells to the bird, why are you singing like this in this forest? And if you had sang the song in English, then you would have even got a Nobel Prize. But the bird is unbothered. It is not at all bothered about what that man gave suggestion. It continues to sing. That is what is the gist of this poem. But the message conveyed by this poem is very nice. So there are three messages which are conveyed. So the first one is what I had mentioned, that if you are passionate and you enjoy doing your job, you don't expect anything in return. You do it because you enjoy it, you love to do it. Then the second point is, you are not bothered about criticism or praise. Right? The cuckoo bird, even in spite of that man telling if you had sang this in English, you would get a Nobel Prize, the bird just continued to do what it was doing. So you should not give in to other people's criticism or praise. You like to do that, continue and do. Don't be disturbed by other people's opinions about the job you do. This is the second message. And the third message, as I had mentioned earlier, you have to convey, you can convey your feelings more nicely, more creatively if you do it in your own mother tongue than using it in any other language. So let us look at the poem now. It's a very simple and a short poem. So just let's look at it line by line. Kuhu kuhu kokilavani jaga jummendudu ada keli ನೀರವ ಪರ್ವತ ಕಾನನ ಶ್ರೇಣಿ ಮರುದನಿ ಗೈದಿತು ಮುದತಾಳಿ. So Kokilawani, in Kannada, cuckoo bird is called as Kogile. Okay, and Kokilawani is the chirping of the cuckoo bird. Then Jummendidu adannu keli. So mesmerized, the entire world is mesmerized listening to that chirping of the bird. Neerava Parvata Kanana Shreni. Neerava means silent. Parvata is mountain, Kanana is forest, and Shreni is a range. So, in a thick forest which has a range of mountains, there is silence because you will not find any houses and any people living there. It's a thick, deep forest. So there will be sound of birds and insects and all that, but it will still be silent when you compare it to the city. So in that silence of the mountain range, Marudani Gaiditu Mudatali. So it echoed whatever the bird was singing. Marudani means to echo. Everything was echoing back with great joy. It looked like the mountains were again echoing the noise back because they were so mesmerized and feeling so joyful listening to this cuckoo bird. Okay, then next paragraph. ಗಾನವ ಕೇಳಿ ಮಹಾಂಬರ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಮಾತಾಡದೆ ಬಣ್ಣಿಸುತ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಕಂದರದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೊಂದು ಸರೋವರ ತೆರೆಗಳ ಕೈಪರೆ ಇಕ್ಕಿತು. So, Gana means the song of this cuckoo bird. Listening to the song of the cuckoo bird, Mahambara is the sky. It just silently praised the bird without talking anything. Matadade means without talking. Without talking, it was praising the song of the bird. Kandaradallidondu sarovara. Kandara means valley. The region in between the two mountains, the valley. In the valley, there was a lake. Sarovara is lake. The waves of the lake, it felt like the waves of, it felt like that the lake was feeling so nice and it wanted to praise the cuckoo bird. So the waves were like clapping. Okay, it looked like the lake was clapping and praising the cuckoo bird. The waves are compared to the clap of the lake. Then Madhuryadi ಪಿಕ ತನ್ನನ್ನೇ ಮರೆಯುತ ಕುಹು ಕುಹು ಕೂಗಿತು. But this cuckoo bird, it was so immersed, so happy in singing that it was melodiously singing kuhu kuhu. It was not perturbed or disturbed by what was happening around it. It enjoyed singing and it continued to do. It forgot about itself. It was so immersed in singing. ಆಲಿಸಿ ದೋರ್ವನು ಗಾನಕ್ಕೆ ನೊಂದು ಸೂಚನೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟನು ಇಂತೆಂದು. So one person who listened to this gave a message, gave this following message to the bird. So what was his message? ಮಲೆಗಳಲುಲಿಯುವ ಓ ಕೋಗಿಲೆಯೇ ಬಲು ಚೆಲುವಿದೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಗಾನ. So, O cuckoo bird who is singing in these mountains, your song is very nice. Balu is very, Cheluvu is nice, Gana is song. Then English ಗೆ ತರ್ಜುಮ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ದೊರೆವುದು ನೊಬೆಲ್ ಬಹುಮಾನ. So tarjume means to translate. English, if this is translated, whatever you are singing in your own language. If that is translated to English, then you will definitely get a Nobel Prize. ಅರಣ್ಯ ರೋಧನ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹಾಡುವೆ ಕೇಳುವರಾರಿಲ್ಲಿ. Aranya Rodhana means nobody can hear you here. Okay, because it's a forest and there will not be much people, there will not be many people who want to listen to this. So he is telling, the person who listened to this cuckoo bird, he is telling there's nobody here to even listen to your song. Why are you singing here? ಕೂಗಿತು ಕೋಗಿಲೆ ಕುಹು ಎಂದು ತಲ್ಲನಿಸಿತು ಜಗಜುಮ್ಮೆಂದು. But the cuckoo bird was unbothered. It continued to sing in its own language, in its own tune and language. Very beautifully it continued to sing. So the message here is, first thing is, he says if this is translated into English, you will get a Nobel Prize. But the bird continued to sing. It continued to sing in its own language. So, what was the message? What was the message I had earlier mentioned that this poem wants to convey is, it is always good if you can express your feelings in your mother tongue. That is one. Then the second, the last two lines. Kugitu kogile kuhu yendu. So the cuckoo bird was not bothered about the suggestions given by that man. It continued to do what it was doing. So here the message is, you should not give in to other people's criticism or praise or opinion. You like doing something, continue to do that. And if you are passionate about what you're doing, you will be completely immersed and dedicated and love what you're doing. That is what the bird does. That is what cuckoo bird does. Cuckoo bird loves to sing, and so it is not bothered if anybody else is listening to it, if anybody else is recognizing it or rewarding it. It loves singing and it continues to sing. It does not expect anything in return. So, the message is very clear that if you are dedicated, you love doing something, you do it for your satisfaction. Not because somebody else has to praise you or somebody else has to recognize you and reward you. You do it because that gives you immense pleasure and happiness. So that is the reward. What is the actual reward you're getting? The actual reward is the immense pleasure and happiness that you feel while you're doing that job. So that is the meaning of Bahumana.